All right, we're live. All right, guys, welcome back to the Highz and Lowz board where we talk about what's happening in the market. Okay, seems like more persons are joining fast today. Well, the markets can always be surprising. I hope you're seeing what is going on currently. But before we jump into some of the exciting stuffs on the markets that we're seeing this morning, let's just briefly look at some news that might have some effects. Yesterday we saw the tweets from Trump where he was talking about 2K as dividends and tariff dividend and all of that. And we do remember that I think 2020, after COVID, we had something similar. That speculations are that is what helped the markets to start pumping late 2020, around November, December. That actually did help. So we have that speculation that we might see something similar. But like I said yesterday, most times when market starts pumping, you just start seeing some of these new stuffs from nowhere will just be popping up.
It's a normal thing. I saw one of Donald Trump's sons. He talked about fourth quarter being, is it unbelievable or crazy, right? And Bitcoin $1 million. So most of these things, when I saw that news, I was like, should not be fourth quarter we did like this because we're already in fourth quarter.
We're already exactly. We're already in fourth quarter, and we haven't really seen much of these things happening or playing out the way most persons anticipated. Yeah, because most of us, what we're used to in a bull run is we saw that 2021, we saw it 217 from October, charts go ballistic.
It's crazy.
You just start seeing like insane pump all around. You start seeing insane pump. But this year, we haven't seen anything close to that. October took people by surprise. It was totally like one of the worst performing Octobers we've seen in the history of crypto. Yet, particularly
that's
in
true.
a bullish year. Yet, so it was terrible. But November now, we're hoping to see something good. Today is already 11. Soon we'll be halfway through the month of November. And we haven't seen any significant pump. Yeah, we have seen some good recovery from some altcoins, but not so much. So briefly, let me just pull up on my screen what's happening in the markets.
I think before we dive in, so welcome guys that are watching us both on X and on YouTube. Please don't forget to share the link, invite someone, invite your friends, and we do this every morning. So it's always good to have you guys, bring in more people so that we have much more elaborate conversations and we have things to look up to or to look forward to for tomorrow. So yeah. Thank you guys for joining in.
Yeah, and if you have questions, it's good that you start dropping them early, or projects you want us to look into, you can start dropping them early. Then also, if you've joined our community, you can also send those projects there. You can drop them in the community so that subsequently when we have this visual stream, we can look up those projects and discuss about them. Yeah, you can take advantage of that. All right, so looking at the markets, my screen is visible, right?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
So we can see today, Uniswap is like one of the best performing projects today, like Uniswap, which this started from yesterday. In fact, that's even corrected a little. It got up to almost 45% as at last night or midnight, stroke early this morning, around 2 a.m. this morning. It was up to 45, almost 50% pump back to support. So that's why we're seeing it retrace a bit. But I saw the news. I don't know if you saw the news yesterday, the tweets about
from the founder, yes.
Yeah, about some of the updates that Uniswap would be doing. Let me just briefly bring up that tweet just briefly about some of the updates that we're pushing. And because when I first saw the pump, the Uniswap pump, I saw it around 18% yesterday evening. And I decided to start checking what could be causing this pump. So that was when I stumbled on the tweet, and I was just going through it. So the summary is there'll be burning fees. So if you see here, the high level proposal that he'll be making, I don't think this hasn't been passed yet. Or, since he's the person making this proposal, I feel they would obviously approve it. So you can see some of the stuff they'll be doing. One of the most important things here relating to the token is the fact that they'll be burning part of the protocol fees will be used to burn unit token. So maybe most persons can take their time to go through all of these details and informations here. Or for me, what I think this means for the Uniswap token is we would see it perform more competitively with other protocols. That is particularly what I am expecting. There will be like a bigger competition. We would see better price action and more reward you get for token holders. Because if you notice, for almost 3 years now, Uniswap token has just been very stagnant. The price action has been somewhat boring. We don't see it pumping. We don't even expect it to pump like other tokens. It's just there. People just know it that it's a solid project. People make money passively from the liquidity pools where people farm and do other things. Like people use it almost every day. You get even those that launch projects or people that fork to create their own dexes and all. They use their protocol. Even the latest is V3. I think it's a V3 or V4 that's the latest. Most platforms have also decided to fork that too and add the code base, the structure to their own DEX. So using Uniswap is not a new thing, but speculating price action, people trading it, aside futures traders that leverage on those slight movements, 1%, 5% move up or down, aside futures traders, spot traders, you rarely see them speculate on the price of Uniswap, which for me, I feel it's a really, really good thing since they have decided now to pay attention. Now, about what Uniswap did, this is something that, this is part of the things that made Binance Smart Chain, BNB, native token, to pump to all-time high on all-time high. And because of that fees that they are burning. And I also think that's one,
yes.
Yeah, I also think that's one thing that has also helped Ethereum, because Ethereum before, they were just minting fresh tokens until they started burning part of the fees and kind of like made it deflationary. You get, in a way where they are burning more than they are emitting Ethereum tokens, and it has really, really helped the price. So, like looking at Uniswap price now, what level do you think? How high do you think this token can run to? Because most persons will feel like the opportunity is gone, but they'll forget that yes, it pumped yesterday, but BTC retracement brought it back to 8 point something where the pump started yesterday evening. So there's still like a huge opportunity for the Uni token.
So for me, I probably might not be able to give like an exact figure of where Uni tokens will be, but tokens like Uniswap, for me, I look at it like tokens that you can use to pack money. When I mean pack money, I mean you use those tokens to keep your money at a certain price or without dumping aggressively. Because let's say you even have like $10,000 that you want to invest in crypto, but you don't want the money to dump, but you want something that maybe at the end of the year you might have gotten maybe 15% or 20% increase in price, right? Uni token is like one of those kind of tokens that you will not come and then you'll see massive dump, like, oh, this token has dumped crazy, right? So you can actually pack your money there. You can keep your money there. So with this new burning of token thing, we are now going to see much more price action, right, towards the upside for Uni tokens, right? Because basically they are just taking out these tokens in circulation. And I think they cited that why Uniswap has been the way it is has been the way it is because of regulatory concerns. But now that we are getting more regulatory clarity, then they can be able to build more, do more. So in the long term, there will be more value accrual to token holders. Now, I might not, think that okay, Uniswap will start to do like 4x, 5x. But what I think is Uniswap might have this kind of sustained pump. So you know how we were seeing BNB almost every other day. BNB will do like 30%, 28%, almost on a daily basis, right? And then when you accumulate that, you find out that BNB has done 2x, 3x in the past 6 months, right? That's the kind of pump I think Uniswap probably will start doing, because only this tweet we saw like at least a 35-40% increase in price. So by the time they start implementing it, you will start seeing maybe in a day 20%, 10%, 15%. A sustained, bullish run or uptrend. So yeah, that's what I'm expecting for Uniswap. For people that don't want to expose themselves to too much risk, but you still want to make some crypto gains, you can start looking into tokens that have high liquidity, high technology usage, and all that good stuff, which Uni is actually good for. Yes.
Yeah, so personally, what I think is most persons are not paying attention to this and they might miss out on easy profits here. I feel the news is still not priced in yet, especially because of this Bitcoin retracement that it has done. So I expect right now Uniswap is at 8 point something dollar. I'll still share my screen briefly, but I'm expecting it to pump to at least $15. Like I'm expecting it to pump to $14, $15 at least. So once Bitcoin stabilizes and this news starts getting to like other communities, you get some other wheels, you get some other persons that start maybe dumping some other projects, because people might dump some other projects and flip the Uniswap. Some people start deciding to maybe flip some Ethereum. The Uniswap some start going to the charts to do some analysis to see how long Uniswap has been consolidating and the fact that it's about to break out. When you start looking at those things, you find out that to be very sincere. And when people start doing also other analysis on DeFi Llama, looking at revenue, profit, fees, you get over the years, total volume. When people start looking at all those statistics and the fact that Uniswap is the OG DEX, like when you talk about the OG DEX that came up with the concept of DEXs, is actually like Uniswap. So when people price all of these things in, they'll find, and also pricing the fact that these guys can now go aggressive because of there's now a framework for crypto, there's now support for crypto. You find that Uniswap can pump to like $80. You understand? Uniswap has all it takes to do like a 10x, because people fail to understand one key thing. Uniswap is that DEX that pushes the boundary. Uniswap is that DEX that sets the standard. Others just tend to like fork what they are doing. Uniswap V1, Uniswap V1, they just copy and paste. Uniswap V2, copy and paste. Uniswap V3, copy and paste. We haven't necessarily seen other DEX come up with like a solution totally different. Most times it's Uniswap that is like the one setting the standard for most of these things. You get, so I do feel by the time people sit down, analyze this, think about it, lots of projects. In fact, we ever start seeing some solid hedge funds start adding Uniswap to their balance sheets. We ever start seeing stuff like ETF for Uniswap. You understand? We start seeing maybe some stuff like ETF. Yeah, for the Uniswap token. People start pushing for that because it's profitable. It's profitable from inception. They've been profitable, and you can't take Uniswap out of crypto right now, especially Web3. When we're talking of Web3 and all of that, you can't mention Web3 without mentioning Uniswap. You can't mention online trading or on-chain trading without mentioning Uniswap. It's just not possible. Yet, so when you price all of these things in, you find that Uniswap can easily, like from where it is right now, let me just pull up my charts. Right now, Uniswap is at 8.3. From where it is right now, look at the the market cap 5.2. Look at the FDV 8.3. Look at the trading volume 3.4. Yeah, so you find out that from where it is 100% very easily, at least 10 billion market cap should be easy, which will put it at around 15 point something dollar. You can put the FTV at 16 point something billion. So it is very easy. Now, when you also look at its performance for the last 1 year, it hasn't really performed. The last 30 days, based on this pump, the news yesterday, it has been able to do almost 50% or thereabouts. So when you look at last year, the price of uni, as at this time last year, you find out that as at let me just go back a little. Okay, as at November last year, it was almost at the same price it is at right now. This is November 14th. It was almost at the same price. But by December, it had done 100%. December 9th, it had done 100%. So if it is to repeat the same thing, and if you look at this chart here, you find that it has already broken out. This pump is most likely going to continue till it gets to this particular zone, most likely. So if you go deep into the candlesticks chart, you can be able to see it in details. Once you switch to candlesticks, you can most likely see it much better. Yeah, you'll be able to see it much better. That unit token should be expected to get to at least 16, 17, $18 was short term. But long term, I'm expecting some good stuffs about the unit token. I don't know why time seems to be running so fast these days. I can't really tell. So I'm looking at let's see the top movers for today before we take the questions. Just briefly. So what do you think about Bitcoin price action? Personally, I feel we'll bounce from this 104 500. I don't think
for
we'll
me,
go below that today. For today, though, I don't think we'll go below that today. Maybe towards Thursday, Friday, we might.
the
If we don't get
price
any
action,
positive news as catalyst, we might go below 104.
Price action is just crazy, to be honest, because we are looking forward to Bitcoin just behaving or trading sideways for some time so that we can get some of these tokens to maybe do some pump. But what we are just seeing is yesterday we talked about there is no trend. We don't have a current trend now, right?
Yeah.
Because the whole privacy coin thing is kind of would I say died down a bit. We saw Stacknet.
Yeah.
Stacknet wanted to start to pump because people linked Stacknet to Zcash because of its founders. But right now that is not, because even Zcash has retraced, Stacknet also has retraced. It's not really flying. We saw a brief move of storage tokens. That is also not really flying.
Yeah.
So what we are getting now is just a few, would I say, hand-picked pump. So just like the way we just saw Uniswap, right? Nobody was expecting it. So since Uniswap has pumped, you will not start expecting Cake to start pumping, or Serium, or Radium to start pumping. No, because the narrative here is not DEX pumping. Rather, it's just the news coming out from a particular project. So we're just hoping that, man, whatever it is that Bitcoin is playing out, is it whether whales are accumulating or they are going for fatigue, trader fatigue, I don't know. But we actually do need this alt to start pumping so that at least move reasonably, because it's at this point it's getting low-key tiring to be on the trading side. Now, because of my line of thought, somebody in the chat asked a quick question, and they said something in the lines of, with your experience, what is the best way to make the quick way to make money in the crypto space? To be honest, it's influencing. just gonna become an influencer. Because if you say you
Quickest.
want to do that,
That's not even quick. That takes time.
which one is the quickest step? Because for me, it's influencing.
Influencing is not actually quick. It takes time. It actually
Well,
takes time
it
and
takes
lots of work.
right, but then if you're now talking about trading, going to learn how to trade, the manipulations in the market. See, if you're a very out for me, if you're a very outgoing person, you have a few friends, you can stay on the news, you can hype basically. Guy, you will make money faster than a whole lot of traders in crypto. That's the truth. Because I've heard people make this statement of there is uh, there is trading and then there is the business of trading, right? So influencing
True,
is more like
true.
the business side of this whole thing. To be honest, if you don't have that full capital and you have a good phone to record video, you have CapCut, you have X or YouTube, guy, start to hype stuff up, hype tokens up, hype. What was it? We've seen small accounts, we've seen people that started hyping airdrop that they didn't even do, right? And now they've become quote unquote influencers, right? So for me, that's the quickest way rather than to go through the route of, learning, trading, perfecting your trade, understanding manipulation, investment. So, yeah. So, you wanted to share something on your screen.
Yeah, I wanted to share something. So before we round up, I would share my screen and some trades that I'm on, and also the trade I shared yesterday. That's the last thing I'll do for round up. But let's just take the questions. So the person that said what's the quickest way? Well, you heard him. He said influencing. For me, I've not really thought about that because influencing is not easy. But depending on your personality, if you're like you said, very outgoing person, you're very vocal, you can be able to do that influence and you're ready to put in the work yet consistently. You can do influencing. The truth is, influencing has little risk. That's the truth. It has very, very little risk. Like, what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst? Yeah,
That's why I said it's the
unlike
easiest.
trading. Yeah, but for me, I won't say influencing is easy. Or influencing is hard. It's really, really hard. For me, though, I would say it's hard. And someone is saying, please, I'd like to hear what you have to say about the Ton ecosystem and what should we be expecting. I think the Ton ecosystem will still take off. It's a slow-paced ecosystem, very slow-paced. And there was a DeFi project on Ton that did over 20x. Trying to remember the name. It was pumping from 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, like consistently. DeFi project on Ton. And it didn't even affect the whole ecosystem. It didn't spin off any catalyst or anything. But I feel Ton still has a future, and why is largely because of Telegram. Because since it's married to Telegram, so I feel they can still work out something, especially now that crypto is now generally accepted. Again, Web3 is now becoming a thing. We should all understand that we're still in the very, very, very early stage. Most of these projects we're seeing now, the ones that have a product and market fit products and users, organic users, most of them years from now, they'll be what times 10 times 20 times 30. Yeah, that's one thing you should understand, but it will take some time. So I feel long term, Ton will bounce, but short term, my Ton bag, yesterday, update first I checked, has dumped by 50%. My Ton bag that I accumulated around August, September, that's dumped by 50% when I checked most of the projects there. But I'm still holding it though. Some other person is asking about virtual protocol, the ecosystem X402. Yeah, that's X40 is a new protocol. Would expatiate on it more tomorrow. But it just allows agents to be able to interact with most platforms. It gives them access to like the HTTPS to get like send queries, transactions, and all of those things. But then expatiate more on it. Now, if you notice, last month it was pumping. Most people made good money based on that hype and that narrative. Even projects that are dead and they are not building again, they leveraged on it. Yeah, so most times you need to understand that and don't become a bag holder. You get in and out and you secure your capital and your profit. So someone is saying something about value chain and its expected decks. Okay, we'll jump in on that tomorrow and based on time. time. LFG was to launch today, but it will be postponed as the team plan to add more features to LFG Dex. Please share latest. Now, I haven't checked to see when they'll postpone it to. I knew they were supposed to launch this week. I don't know when they moved it to. I've not checked yet. But whatever they are doing, they can't. It doesn't even make sense for them to postpone the token launch for so long because they would lose investors' confidence. They've already dragged it for too long. They dragged the pre-sale till yesterday. The pre-sale ended yesterday, so they can't drag the token listing too long again. For me, I feel this whole thing they are saying is just an excuse. Most likely, it's the
Maybe
market
they're just looking
sentiment.
at market.
That is why
Yes.
they are thinking of shit. Exactly, it's the market sentiment. This whole features this, that's your story. It's market sentiment. That is what is making them push it because they are really looking at that stuff pumping above 100M. And if the market sentiment is not looking so good, they would stop. But once they see a good market, they can announce that they are launching it tomorrow. They can just announce today that they are launching it tomorrow. So, but I'll check to see the new announced date, but it shouldn't be so long again. Share updates on Ujira. Okay, Specialized is the one that has updates on Ujira. With Uniswap pumping, can Cake also pump to $5? Now that's the thing. Unless Cake would bring up a similar update, get where they would be buying more of the Cake token and accumulating it or burning it or something. Besides that, there's nothing that would relatively want to go and make Cake start pumping, unless people just choose to start up like a DEX pump narrative, which I really don't see that happening because Uniswap alone is going to suck lots of volume get from other DEXs. I'm talking about buy volume, by the way. Most persons want to FOMO into it. Personally, I would go look at the Uniswap charts looking for a long position. Most likely after this live stream, I would go look at the chart to find some long positions and where maybe I can load up some trades on Uniswap. Also, when the run comes for AI tokens, I see virtual protocol. Yeah. I strongly believe in virtual will keep doing well. It's been consistently outperforming other AI ecosystems. So I strongly believe it will, and there'll be some real runners and winners. That's why I was saying that virtual by aura, aura by virtual that we were talking about yesterday. You need to keep an eye on it because once the pump gets back to the virtual ecosystem, that project will easily go above 10M. It has a resistance between 8 and I think 9M. That's where it has resistance. It will easily go above that. Some other person is asking if any pump comes to Bitcoin, I think it will be the last one. A lot of bearish signals on the. Okay, so the issue I have with BTC is it's going above 105. I've said it several times. As long as BTC can stay below 105K, even if it dumps to 95, stay below 102, 103. Don't pump above 105. If that happens, most alts will be able to pump and recover real good. Yes, because the more BTC goes down, the more opportunity these altcoins have to like appreciate in price and in valuation. So I have no issue with BTC dumping. Sincerely, I have no issues at all. The BTC has even overpumped. It has really pumped. Has enjoyed so much for almost 2 years now. It has been pumping. So I won't feel bad at all if BTC corrects to like 90K or even 95. In fact, if it ever corrects to 88K or 85, I have no issues. Because one thing is certain, Ethereum will not dump to 1.5 or 1.8. Ethereum will most likely still hold up against 3K, even if BTC dumps to like 88K. Same thing with BNB. BNB will still hold up above 850, 900, even if BTC dumps to 80 something K. And other altcoins too, they would use the opportunity to appreciate against BTC. Yet, so these are like some things you should understand. I forgot to add the base ecosystem. Virtual is on base. What are your thoughts? Yeah, base is good, but one of the things pumping the most on base now is your AI agents.
I don't know if it's me, but I think we just lost
Sometime maybe
Solomon.
it was this side. Okay, that was my network. Sorry, that was my network. So if
Okay.
I on turn, Yeah, EVA on Ton. Yeah, that's the name of the DeFi token, EVA on Ton. So Creep, yeah, I've spoken about Creep at different intervals. So if you're just maybe this is the first time you're joining, what about Creep on BSC? What do you think about it? Most have it as an Shiba Inu. I think Creep is a good project that has a solid community, and the name is not bad. Creep, the name is not bad. So I think Creep can perform well long term. The most important thing is entry. If you can get an entry below 30M, then you're good. It's not bad at all. We spoke about four, talking about some tokens we called that we're expecting to pump. We spoke about four after Gigo. So if you haven't, you can still take advantage of four, because this Bitcoin manipulation, so I call it manipulation or correction, tends to give you opportunities to leverage on. Now, because of time, we've passed 30 minutes. Let me briefly share my screen for the trade from yesterday, just briefly before we round up. Yeah, so yesterday I shared this trade. I shared my screen. I shared this avalanche trade yesterday. This is a 4-hour chart, by the way. So I shared this yesterday that this was a trade I was taking. So for those that might want to join me on the trade. Now, this one was close to hitting its target yesterday. I think it was somewhere around 17 point something. Well, this has hit the target, but the long-term on is still on. This is a long-term trade. This one is still on. Now, if you notice, it's corrected early hours of this morning based on this BTC dump. Now, I took another trade. This is just to scalp on the 15 minutes time frame. Took this trade this morning, by the way. I think just 1 hour before we started this session. This is just to scalp. This particular trade. So it's just to scalp. So you can see my target most times is just 1 to 2. But like I said, if it keeps going higher, I can keep adjusting my SL, which right now, I'm sure it has done 100% profit already. Yeah, I'm sure it has done 100% already. I think so. I think it has. If I should check it, it has. So you might still want to follow up on the long-term trade. For this short-term trade, now for those that might want to take this, I won't advise you to take this trade if it goes back to entry. Reason is for lower time frame trades that are for scalping. I think we said this when we were doing our free crypto lecture. Most times after say 2 hours to 3 hours, that trade becomes invalid. If it goes back to its entry point, which is like a support, to most likely break that point and go to the stop loss. Most times, in most cases. The only times where that doesn't happen is if that particular zone you entered from is like a solid support zone. By the way, this live stream is not for lecturing, but I'm just saying that if that zone is like a very, very solid support zone, that is when it will still be valid. But when it is not, it's just like a short-term support, maybe a 2-hour support zone or a 1-hour support zone or something. And the trade has been playing around that zone for maybe 2-3 hours without taking off. In most cases, or it went, then it returned back there. In most cases, it just fail and go down. So that's why this lower time frame trade, if you see it back here, I would not advise anybody to go and take it to see how it's back to entry. No, I won't advise that actually. Yeah, so that's about the trades. If you want to still jump in on, I think there was another trade I was about to take. Okay. I think Litecoin. There's another trade I took. Let me just briefly share that. I think it's Litecoin. Oh, it has already moved. Okay, it hasn't moved. It's still almost there. I think it's Litecoin. I'm sure it's this. Yes, this is it. It's LTC. But why I was thinking it has already moved is because I entered around 101. This particular trade. So you might still want to jump in on this. For me, this one hasn't moved yet. The LTC trade. By now I entered around 101. So you can still jump in on this. You can still jump in on this Litecoin trade. with stop loss at 97 point something and take profit at 113.5. Yeah, so I think that's all we're taking for today. Mr. Miracle, I don't know if you have some things you want to share.
Well, just to quickly round up, for Rujira, we're just there's an update that is coming up soon. So that update
Yeah,
would have new features added to the Rujira app. That's just about it. For the person that asked about Rujira, we are still keeping up tabs with Ruji and development. They are basically focusing on development right now without marketing or hype, right? So yeah, that's all that we have. So for my own part, it's been lovely. Thank you very much for inviting people, and yeah.
yeah. The person asking about airdrops, we'll soon share some airdrops that we've been looking into. There are some really good airdrops, but we'll soon share them. Share them. Maybe we'll pick a day that will be like one of the major things we'll talk about. So don't forget, pay attention to what's happening in the market for the futures trades. You need to keep an eye on BTC because if BTC does an aggressive dump below 104K, it will invalidate most of those trades. If it does an aggressive dump. But if it's a slow, steady dump, most of those trades will still hold their positions. Most of them, especially the long-term ones, they will still hold their position. So don't forget, we do this every day, Monday to Friday. See you guys tomorrow and bring along your questions. And also don't forget to invite someone. Bye, guys.